History and Food Affair with Peter and Kobela.
Ka tle ke bone e le gore go kile gwa boriwa metsi go gare mang ebe a tswa morago ga dingwaga tse tharo go be gote ga a tlhatswa jaanong mo customer pele nka dumela go gona madi ame o mborela metsi ke lemoga ka eng gore se o tlileng go se ntirela ga so se ka se laste
Ntate Moagi, that is a very good question. And most people have aware of that aspect of the drilling part of the borehole. Because there is no way in the world where there is a guarantee that every time you drill somewhere you will get water. Sometimes you can drill up to 100 meters only to find where the aquifer is sitting at 102 meters. So I have just stopped 2 meters above the water aquifer.
Okay.
And you will say there's no water, I will say there's no water because I also feel on that spot. So the risk of drilling a borehole, I always tell my clients, and we also write it on our quotations and estimates to say the risk of drilling a borehole lies solely and mainly with the customer themselves. So that's why it's very, very important for customers to educate themselves when it comes to the boreholes, because how to drill a boreholes, it's easy to spend for domestic borehole, it's easy to spend around 50,000, 100,000 because nobody knows Horometi Amokai. But what we normally do based on our experience, we would know Hore, this area normally we get Meti go around 50 meters, 60 meters. So based on that, we are able to advise that line. But having said that, and with that experience, we cannot 100% guarantee that where we are going to drill for those meters that we estimated for, we're going to get a Meti go there. So motor hard driller, they must be aware of the risk that goes with drilling. Because I have spent resources, everybody needs to be paid in that value chain.
Me ke go tlile mara karabo e ke batlang ke gore jaanong mathata ya ba simolotse kae ge ile gore metsi ane a tswa dingwaga di le tharo ga tlhole a
all right, so udrilla borehole go, let's say in an area udrilla borehole today at 50 meters. But kabaka la di droughts later on, the water table. Let's say we drill 50 meters, but your water table was sitting at 30 or 25 meters. So as you draw the water and plus droughts, because the boreholes are recharged by pula. Yeah? So if it doesn't rain for some time, you lose the flow of water in your borehole.
The water table.
Yeah, your water table drops. Yes, your water table will drop.
Yeah.
So that's where you get, after some time, how high is strong to a point where no remedy has, as you say. But another factor could be that when I would drill it today, Kobela comes in 2 years' time, about driller upstream from you into the same, for simplicity purposes, into the same river that you are getting your water from. So it means he's upstream when I go downstream. So how pamper his borehole is most likely to take water away from you.
All right.
Yeah, so those are various, some of it's a simplistic way of putting it, but those are some of the factors.
Well, so when is it the best time you would drill a borehole? Because they normally say hoka driller in winter before the pula dinner. You are most likely to have a strong borehole because it can perform even in dry season. When is it the best time to drill?
Anytime it's best time to drill, because a strong aquifer is a strong aquifer. But that logic holds and makes sense because you won't be fooled. A strong water, a weak water flow that comes because of rainfalls during summer. So if it's winter, the chances of you hitting proper water is very high. Because now out of that you can see where it's a dry season, but the aquifer is full.
Okay.
But this is a simplistic way. Yeah.
Okay, Tata Rabutapi, I've been listening to the conversation and quite interesting. But now can I lay some messages, some sort of, when we posted that we were going to be talking to Tata Rabutapi, I think the feedback that we got most was from farmers who are struggling, not necessarily people who want to get into the borehole industry, but people who rely on boreholes and your services. And the biggest question, Kiona, I mean, like the costs that are associated with drilling borehole, affecting the cost of the farming operation as is. So I just want to understand, is there a cheaper way of accessing underground water in terms of borehole drillers? Are there the cheaper people who do it? You said there's an industrial where you do boreholes for
corporate, government, private companies,
and there will be other people who are using lesser water. Lesser water. Is there a price difference in terms of
no, not really. The price for drilling, the cost of drilling would roughly be the same. The only thing that affects, because now how did you cooperate? The corporate, they have requirements that you have to meet. Those requirements, they come with a cost. For domestic purposes, there are less requirements. So we are able to make the price less because of that. But having said that, it is very important, and especially for the rates go higher, to even check the reputation of the company that they're going to use. Because anybody can come. They are able to offer cheap services because of economies of their scale, but also operate outside of the rules that govern proper constructions at the borehole. Like we are, as Rabutapi Construction, we are members of the Borehole Water Association of South Africa, which ensures certain standards to make sure that, number one, we protect the client in terms of the workmanship quality of the work that we do. So we follow those strict protocols for borehole construction. Number two, they also make sure that we as members, we also comply to sustainable ways of doing the borehole construction. Because remember, water, it's a resource, like Ntate Mwatsanampoza earlier on. If we don't do it right, we may endanger other users in the area as well. So there are strict protocols that we have to adhere to Haridrila di borehole. And the way Ronald Sebetsanga, we extend those qualities to even a private domestic client. Because at the end of the day, whether you spend 20,000, 30,000 or 100,000, it is a cost, especially in farming. In farming is not a 6 months project. You want to do farming for 10 years, 20 years, even for other generations after you. So if you drill a borehole, you want to make sure that it's properly drilled, so that despite other factors, the workmanship and the quality of that borehole can stand for the next 20, 30, 50 years.
Yeah, thank you so much for Polang. Mr. Rabutapi, the build up to the show, one of the comments we saw was from a gentleman, Dr. Maboe. He's a vet, not on the show. It's been difficult to find him. But when he saw your post or you are coming onto the show, he said something very interesting to me. Very short. And I've never met him. I've done business with him, and it was neat. How did you build up the confidence? How did you build up the confidence with a business, with someone who has never met you? And I mean, that's you know, as Africa, we trust so much because ke a o bona Mr. Hopola okay face-to-face interaction is important. But this gentleman as if a kopane le lona, and yet he does business with you. How did you develop the trust?
Like I said, number one, you need passion to do proper things in life. Without passion, you're going to mess things up. And unfortunately, because especially the Dagi, as I hope I get but especially us as black people, because we are talking to a black audience, so we have to develop a passion for things that we do. We have to have passions for the things that because when you do something with passion, I normally tell even my guys to say, you are not working for me, you are working for yourself. Every job that you do is a signature, and you must be proud of your work. So when we go out and do work, yes, where things may not go accordingly, but most of the time we want to put our name on that job. And I also tell them, the guys especially after you have done a borehole installation, in 20 years, how your son or super that place proudly to say, plus yele and that kobela yele ke nana driller borehole ke nana installer tanka le di pump you see it's still standing. Your name is on that.
But give me a sense, how do we get Bathobansu to get into the business? Because it is tough, it's expensive. But I'm also worried about black people investing in other black people's businesses.
Okay, I think it's gonna take a lot of us who are already in business to offer services to Sonan later, Dr. Maboya, where he would come back and say, I've never met Rabutapi, but I liked what he did. Because sometimes really short-term way of doing things. So we need all of us, including it's a burden upon us, because we have a very difficulty. Again, it's a click story where our confidence levels in ourselves as black people has been so hampered, and it continues to be hampered on a daily basis. So we need to bring back confidence, number one, to ourselves, to say, I can do a better job. Tomorrow I can do a better job than I did today. But that will also translate to our clients saying, you know what, I have dealt with Rabutapi, I have dealt with Kobela, I have dealt with Ndate Mwate, and these black people, they have done by Shail and Toya, Kaskas. And out of that, then we're gonna develop confidence in ourselves and confidence generally as black people. And it will make our jobs, all of us, including our children, easy when we go into business. Because I know we deal with those, a lot of issues. Using the case in Ndate normally what happens, somebody will call about a quotation. We send the quotation and he says, okay, Rabutapi, I'm happy with your quotation, what do I do? We say, okay, deposit it, and then we come and drill and do whatever needs. And these people, most of them, we never meet them. So we'll talk to them, or the office will speak to them over the phone, and we tell them, you deposit your money into this account, and then within such a period of time, depending on our busy hakai, we will come and attend to your borehole. To the drilling of your borehole and complete your work. And this guy, like that Maboe, when he is happy and satisfied, he's going not to tell only Ndate Kobela, he's going to tell 100 other people. And they say the best marketing is word of mouth marketing.
Okay, you can.
I just want to find out in your experience. It's been a while now, right?
Since 2006. Since 2006, full time. Yeah.
On top of a bad, but like how does...
And focused as well. Because I think as kids, mentality or share tender. It's killing us because we are not building businesses. All over. The face mask because there's nothing wrong. That's being a businessman. But we need to develop specialties. That's why we chose as Rabutapi Construction to focus mainly and solely on boreholes within the water sector.
No problem. I just want to find out, like, how many, top of your mind, percentage of your clients that are mostly farms. And what is the trend? What have you noticed as the biggest challenge in the farming industry in terms of drilling of boreholes and supplying of water?
The biggest problem that I have seen, especially with government-funded farming projects, ne, is that people will go back in your fence, back in all the other infrastructure that goes with the farm. Ne? Maybe it's a poultry farm or whatever. And as a last resort, they come and they want to drill a borehole. And sometimes we go driller 1 or 2 boreholes hadinamiti. Obviously, the farm has already failed. So the first thing that we need to do is to start with water, because farming is about water. Without water, you can't do any farming. So I would say maybe 20 to 25% of our clients are private farmers that we attend to on the drilling and as well as maintenance and installation of pumps.
Okay.
Yes.
In my mind, how can we get more black people into this business? Now, thinking of that, in Tira ibile ke go fe this opportunity ke gore ke re kile ra bona government e supporta di cooperatives.
Yes.
But ya somebody a sa itsepe ka gogo bebe ba ba ikgobokanya be ba ba workshop ba ba thusa ba feletse bana le mo ba rekisang di gogo. Now ge le gore we will say a government e funded the cooperatives towards the business ya di borehole, because ke tlhaloganya gore it's much expensive. What are the elements still current government worry now? Be careful of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or ensure that cooperatives will fill information early before you can fund them into this business.
Okay. I think Harangu FM is doing very powerful work for this specific program. And I think this is one of the exposures. The first thing was how do we get more black people into businesses like this one? And having looked at the GDP stats today that were released by Stats SA, we have seen that farming is the only sector that showed growth of 15%, whereas manufacturing, mining, and all other, they have gone backwards over 50%. Hence, the average depression is sitting at 51%. And I think it's about high time we go back to basics. We need to go back to farming. And this is where it all starts. Because once we start doing farming, then it makes a need for my business as well. Because before you start a farming operation, you need to have a borehole.
Yeah.
Because normally your farms are in the outskirts where there's no network, rainwater and all those. So boreholes form an essential part of that. And now this is where the government, our government, can use this opportunity to kickstart the opportunity by properly supporting farmers to be in proper businesses as in the farming. And then from there will also be opportunities like Rona, people who drill boreholes, who install pumps, who install solar systems, and other related services around packaging, your farm products.
How do people get a hold of you in the Rabutapi? Because after this call, we know, after this show, through past experiences, the guests we've had, most of them grow their business after the show. I don't understand why people don't want to come to the show. How do I invite them? But give us a sense on how do people get a hold of you, because people will be in touch directly after the show.
Exactly.
Renale website www.rabutapi.co.za.
Okay.
We are also on Facebook under handle Rabutapi Boreholes. So if they check Rabutapi Boreholes on Facebook, then
can you repeat the website?
www.rabutapi.co.za. Or they can contact us for 012-546-1050. 012-546-1050. And we are also on WhatsApp on 083-430-3804.
083
for WhatsApps.
083
430
yes
3804.
Yeah. I wish you well, Mr Rabutapi. The business is growing. I was told to say greetings from a friend. Vargas Bongile Mahlangu. Mes Bongile Mahlangu. Pardon me.
Our Kickstarter.
Our Kickstarter mentor. Yes. And we are having you back next week. We will be talking about agricultural development and so forth. So, if they haven't had enough of you, they will have enough of you by after next week's show.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Agri and Food Affair with Peter and Kobela.